Hi, I'm G and I am taking you along with my art business and what sort of things I do day to day. So today I want to share how I am going to improve my product photography. So it's like a better way of showcasing my work and I think connecting with customers with what I'm trying to convey. First of all, I focused on the background. We know what's going to be in the foreground. It's the different products that either I sell or what you sell. I wanted things in the background to reflect my brand's colours and sort of themes. And I feel like a shift was sort of happening from my original product photography. When I first started this business, I drew a lot of like ghosts. And I thought my brand would be sort of like Halloween all year round. So that is why I went for the orange leaves, the pine cones, like autumn is my favourite season. So everything autumnal. I feel like I kept that same theming even when I had new products. I just kept the consistent theming for about 2 years. So since then I've progressed into more creatures, more nature-based, brought in some like different animals as well. So I just wanted a fresh new look for my product photography, which sort of goes with my more current theming and how my business has progressed. So first thing I did was create a mood board. So I did this on Pinterest. Let me know if there's any other cool sites that you can make mood boards on. As you can see, I haven't totally lost the sort of spooky vibe. Obviously that's still very integral to what I do, but I've gone more natural with it. So we've got loads of greens and browns. I've been sort of taking inspiration from sort of like cryptids, sort of like mysteries, paranormal investigations, sort of like X-Files, Mulder and Scully. And I'm really big into like survival horror video games, so some items from that has sort of come into play with my inspiration and impacted the items I've been looking for. So I'll pop some of them on screen. This is what I had in mind with the theming, lots of sort of like maps, sort of like old compass, like sort of like natural plants, old newspaper clippings, that type of thing. So what I did next was I went on eBay, was looking for things like keys, all those sort of items, and like the postage was racking up a little bit, and like obviously I want to put money into this, but I didn't want to spend loads because the main focus is the products. We'll just talk about the background here, but it is important. So next best thing, what did I do? I went to the ye old car boot. I don't know if they're just a UK thing, but basically it's just a field where people bring their cars and sell whatever. So some people like businesses that go like every week, and some people just go to like have a bit of a clear out of your house. You can find all sorts there. So with these chosen items in mind, I went to a car boot. Really affordable. I think the most I spent on an item was 50p. Mad. So we went round, didn't find everything that I wanted, but found things that were sort of related to the aesthetic I was going for. I will say I got some like fake moss, that was off eBay, but everything else I got at the car boot. I think everything was 50p, so I think I spent like £2, which is mad. In terms of the actual background itself in the photos, I'm just using my desktop because it's like wood effect. I think it just fits the theme quite well. I would say, obviously depending on your theming and your aesthetic, there's loads of things you can use. I think places like The Range and B&M have like, I think they're booklets for scrapbooks. I will put a picture if I find it. And basically it's just like different colours, different patterns on like a big square piece of paper or cardboard. And I know other artists use those, and those look really nice for product photography as well. So if there's a certain colour that you're looking for, or certain different patterns, that could be the way to go. Now we've got our background sorted, now let's move on to actually taking the photographs. So I don't know if anyone else does this. I used to purely use the natural light outside, which actually as like a fill light, it works really well if you've got the weather for it. I'm in the UK, it's not always reliable. So sometimes I found myself, like I planned a day to do product photography, and it was really overcast and looked dreary, and I took some photos anyway, and even after editing them they just didn't look right. So it's not reliable, and you can't always, like, we only get like, what is it, 1 week of really nice weather in the UK. Slim pickings. If you're waiting for a decent day to come, you might be waiting ages. You might have a shop launch, you might have new products, you really want to go out there. You can't always be waiting. That's when I decided to invest in a softbox light. It provides consistent, even lighting sort of all over your sort of frame, which is brilliant for capturing those true colours and details of my artwork. I feel like that's what I was struggling with before. I've even had sort of comments from customers about the colours, like positive when the products arrived, but sort of saying the colours were much better when the product arrived. And I feel like that could be an issue if the colours don't look true to form. Lighting is so important. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on it, but you need some form of lighting for your scene. So if you're naturally outside, everything's lit, that's fine, but if you're doing it inside, it is something to have a think about. I will say, before I brought the softbox, I used a ring light, which is a sort of more affordable option. And I will say it was really good because it had an adjustable brightness and adjustable colour temperature. So whether you wanted more cool lighting, warm lighting, or you can sort of negate the opposite. So if it looks a bit cool, you can bring it up. Also, after shooting, I would use some basic editing tools to fine tune your images. Just the brightness, the contrast, cropping to whichever platform you're putting your photographs on, just to make sure your products look best and that they're the like central part of the image as well. I feel like I have been talking a lot about the background, but you don't want that to overshadow your product that's in the foreground of the image. I do really like sort of playing with colours as well for social media. So I'd say maybe for like TikTok, Instagram or Reels for your cover photos. If you've got brand colours, maybe introduce that more into the image. I would say on selling platforms, I'd be a bit more careful with that. I'd say, true to form, true to the colours of the product. I feel like these improvements have made a big difference into how my products will be perceived. It's not always just about taking the photo itself. It's about telling a story with your art, and with like small products, I feel like the whole image is going to be sort of taken into consideration. Remember, you don't need to be a photography expert to improve your product photography at all. Like I'm just trying to take some simple tools, a little bit of creativity, and this can just level up the photography and really make your products and work shine. If you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. Hopefully seeing my thought process of how I went about improving my product photography has helped in some way and given some inspiration. Let me know if you're going to try something different. But yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.